Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head long after it was already over? Something you said, something they said, or something you wish you had said differently. The moment has passed. Nothing bad actually happened, and yet your mind keeps returning to it. You might be brushing your teeth, lying in bed, or staring at the ceiling late at night, and suddenly, the conversation starts playing again. Why does your brain do this? Why does it replay conversations even when there's nothing left to fix? This experience has a name. It's called rumination. Rumination is when the brain repeatedly revisits an event in an attempt to understand it, evaluate it, and protect you from something similar happening again in the future. And while rumination often feels frustrating or exhausting, it isn't random. It's a survival response. To understand why the brain does this, you have to understand what the brain is actually designed to do. Your brain did not evolve to make you happy. It evolved to keep you alive. And for most of human history, survival depended heavily on social relationships. Belonging to a group meant safety. Acceptance meant access to food, protection, and cooperation. Rejection meant isolation. And isolation could be dangerous. So the brain became extremely sensitive to social feedback. Even today, your brain treats conversations as signals about safety and belonging. That's why it pays attention to tone, facial expression, pauses, and subtle shifts in mood. It's not just listening to words, it's monitoring outcomes. When a conversation ends, your brain quietly asks a question. Did that go okay? If the answer feels clear, the brain moves on. But if the answer feels uncertain, the brain keeps reviewing the moment. Not to punish you, not to embarrass you, but to learn. Think about what your brain focuses on during replay. It doesn't replay the entire conversation evenly. Instead, it zooms in on specific moments. A pause that felt slightly off. A response that felt delayed. A tone that was hard to interpret. A facial expression that felt ambiguous. Your brain is scanning for information it thinks it might have missed. It's trying to predict future outcomes so it can protect you later. This replay becomes stronger when the conversation felt important. If you cared about the person, if the outcome mattered, or if the interaction affected how you see yourself, your brain flags the experience as high priority. High priority moments get reviewed more deeply. Stress amplifies this entire process. When stress levels are high, the brain becomes more vigilant. It looks harder for mistakes, missed cues, or possible threats. This is why conversations replay more often at night or during quiet moments. When external distractions fade, the mind turns inward. There's another layer to this. Your brain dislikes unfinished loops. If a conversation feels unresolved, if something was left unclear, or if the outcome feels uncertain, the mind keeps working on it even though no new information is available. It's not trying to relive the past. It's trying to complete it. This is why the brain creates alternate versions of the same conversation. Things you could have said, things you wish you had clarified, responses you imagine giving differently. Your brain is rehearsing. Not because the past can change, but because the future might repeat itself. This rehearsal is protective. The brain believes that if it can analyze the situation deeply enough, it can prevent future discomfort. So it keeps looping. But here's something important to understand. Replaying conversations does not mean you did something wrong. It means your brain detected uncertainty. And uncertainty triggers analysis. Some people experience this more intensely than others. Brains that are more socially aware, emotionally perceptive, or naturally analytical tend to replay conversations more often. This doesn't automatically mean anxiety. Often it simply means awareness is high. However, when rumination becomes repetitive and distressing, it stops being useful. Instead of learning, the brain starts looping without progress. The same thoughts, the same moments, over and over, with no new resolution. The brain does this because it believes repetition will eventually lead to clarity. But clarity doesn't come from replaying the past. It comes from understanding why the brain is replaying it. Notice what your brain is actually trying to do. It's trying to protect you from future social discomfort. It's rehearsing, predicting, and preparing, not attacking you. This is why fighting rumination often makes it worse. When you argue with the thought, judge them, or try to force them away, the brain interprets resistance as importance. So it keeps looping. But when you recognize the replay as a protective mechanism, something changes. You stop treating it like a problem and start seeing it as information. And when the brain senses less resistance, the loop naturally weakens. There's another reason why replaying conversations feels so intrusive. The brain has a negativity bias. Negative or uncertain experiences carry more weight than neutral or positive ones. So even if a conversation went mostly well, the brain fixates on the one moment that felt slightly off. This is not pessimism. It's survival. Your brain would rather overanalyze a harmless social moment than miss a real threat. So it reviews, again and again. This is also why reassurance helps. When uncertainty disappears, the brain relaxes. If you receive clarity, emotional closure, or confirmation that things are okay, the brain no longer sees a threat. So it lets go. Time can also resolve rumination. As new experiences replace old ones, the brain updates its predictions. The loop loses relevance, and gradually, it quiets down. The most important thing to remember is this: your brain isn't broken. It isn't stuck. It isn't trying to hurt you. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do, trying to keep you safe in a complex social world. So the next time your mind replays a conversation, notice what it's doing. It's checking for safety. It's scanning for understanding. It's trying to protect you. And once that protection feels unnecessary, the loop will fade. In the next video, we'll explore why your brain refuses to shut down at night even when you're exhausted, and why being tired doesn't always mean being sleepy.